What's going on, guys? Balkan Architect here, and in today's video we're going to be talking about ceilings in Revit. So if you worked in Revit for any length of time, you probably know that when it comes to ceilings in Revit, they are fairly simple and straightforward, but the downside of that is you don't get much complexity in terms of structure and components when it comes to ceilings, more importantly suspended ceilings. So in this video I wanted to kind of take some time and create a complex ceiling where you actually have all of the construction elements of a suspended ceiling, and just show you what the workflow for something like that would be. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Now before we start, I'd just like to ask you to subscribe to the channel for more videos, and also make sure to like the video to make that llama happy. Okay, so without any further ado, let's jump into Revit, and here we are. So let's get started by simply going here to models and then going to new. Now for the template file, I'm just going to be choosing my architecture design template. This is something that's available on my website, balkanarchitect.com. So if you're interested in ready to go templates, you can find it both just below the video in the description or up there in the cards. Now I'm just going to click OK, and let's let Revit start up our project. So when it comes to creating these ceilings, unfortunately the ceiling tool isn't going to be much help. So we're actually going to be creating the ceiling as a roof, which is kind of interesting. So let's go here to the project browser first. Let's go to level 1, for example, and then let's just create a simple structure, just a few walls, and then we're going to be placing our ceiling there. So I'm just going to go here to the architecture tab, to the wall tool. You can use the WA shortcut, and then here I'm just going to search for perhaps the exterior wall, something like that. Then you want to use the rectangle tool for drawing that out, and then let's create just a simple room here, perhaps something like this. Hit the escape key a couple of times, and then let's zoom in and let's get started. So for replacing the ceiling, usually what you would do is go to the ceiling tool, and then you would just click, and there you go, you have your ceiling. Now for this approach, we're actually going to be using a roof, as I said. So we're just going to be going here to the roof tool, and here Revit is going to ask us, do we want to place that roof on level 2, because that's the kind of the upper level, and that's exactly what we want to do. So let's click yes. And then we're just going to be using, again, the simple rectangle, and you can just go around like this and make sure to lock that in. So just lock it on all sides. And another really important thing is to go here and uncheck defines slope. Now once we have done that, the next thing that we have to do is to make sure to switch the roof type from a regular roof to a sloped glazing roof. So what sloped glazing does, it creates basically a curtain wall that's a roof. So that's what we need. Now also here, if I just hit the escape key a couple of times, you can see that because define slope was turned on once we've created this, so we still get these little triangles, so we want to turn that off. So just select the whole thing, goes to define slope, and just uncheck that there as well. Okay, now to finish this, you just hit finish here, and there we go, we have our sloped glazing. Now you can go to the 3D view, perhaps that would be the best option just to see what we're doing here. So if I just go here to the default 3D view, this is what that looks like. Now because I'm using my template, as you have seen, that's why we already have these Malians here. Now realistically we wouldn't have this here, so if we weren't using the template here, if I go into edit type, this all would just be set to none. So all of these Malians wouldn't be there, and then also it wouldn't have any basically any grid system here, so this would just be turned off. So that's just something to keep in mind if you're working with just a regular template. And now what you want to do to kind of customize this is you want to set up the grids at a fixed distance, and then you want to enter something that's going to match your ceiling grid. Now usually in offices it works with 60 by 60 grids, so that's what I'm going to be using. So 60 by 60 centimeters it is what we're using for this. So you want to just check it on that, hit apply. Now here in this case it's just going to delete some of the Malians. For some reason it kept some of the Malians, which is kind of annoying. So if I just make a kind of a broad selection and go to filter, check none, curtain wall Malians, apply, okay, and then hopefully I'll be able just to get rid of those. There we go. So do we have one here? No, we don't. Okay, so now once we have set up the grid, now it's time to create our Malians, which in this case is going to be our ceiling construction. Now, before we move forward with that, if you're serious about learning Revit and if you want to explore Revit in depth, I suggest you check out my website, balkanarchitect.com. That's going to be the first link just below the video and also up in the cards. There I have all of my advanced level courses. I have over 120 hours of content, and I'm adding more courses each month. So if you're interested in that, please check it out. Okay, let's now go back to Revit and move forward with our suspended ceiling. So what you want to do next is create a customized Malian, which is going to be your ceiling construction. So for that, what we need to do is go here to the File menu, and then we have to create a new Malian family. So you just go here to New. Oops, not there. Let's try that again. So you go here to New, and then you click on this little button to expand the menu, and then you go to Family. Now for the family type or for the family template, you want to scroll down and find your profiles, and here we have the metric profile Malian. So you want to use that one. Of course, if you're using the Imperial template, then just go with Imperial. Okay, then let's hit open. And it's going to open it up and it's going to look like this. So for our Malian, I'm essentially just designing it to look how the ceiling construction would look like. So what you want to do for that is just go here to the line tool, and then I want to create it, but keep in mind that you're creating this upside down. So you can either create it the right side up and then rotate that, or you can just go and create it upside down. I'm just going to do that, just do it upside down. So let's come in here, let's go with, see how that little dimension, temporary dimension, is showing us 20 millimeters. I'm just going to start with that, go 5 millimeters, go inside, go up a little bit, perhaps like that, 80 millimeters, and then we can create like a triangular structure like this. Perfect. Now I'm just going to select all of this, and then I'm just going to go here to the mirror tool, pick axis, and then mirror it like that. Hit the escape key a couple of times. And then actually this, if I look at it, I can move the temporary dimension. Oops, not that. Let's try that again. So let's try to move this here. Okay, it's not going to work. How about this one? There we go. Okay, let's make this 3 millimeters. Same thing on the other side, so just bring it in to be 3 millimeters. And then this whole thing should be 3 millimeters as well, so 3 millimeters in total. So you can just move this here and type in 1.5. Because this is usually sheet metal, so it's never going to be too thick, so something like that. Also, the distance of this should be 20 millimeters. There we go. And then finally, for this kind of a triangle, I make it a little smaller, perhaps like that. And there we go. Well, finally, we just need a line to connect this here. So create a line, and then just go from there to here. Perfect. Hit the escape key a couple of times, and now we have that profile. So again, this is upside down. This is just going to be rotated later in Revit, but it usually works a bit better, and it's a bit easier if you create it upside down here. Now, really important, you have to save this family before you move forward. So make sure to just go here to the File menu. Let's go to Save, and then let's bring it up here. Let's save it on my desktop, and this is going to be our ceiling construction family, or Malian, or profile. Yeah, that's even better. Okay, so once we have this, let's hit save. And we're done. We can now load this into the project and then use that. So let's go back here to the family editor, load into project. I usually like to keep it opened up just in case I have to make some changes. I want to have that family kind of over here, so it's always ready to go. Let's then go to the 3D view like this. Now something that you'll notice is if I select this roof and go into edit type, if I scroll down to Malians, and if I select any of these, it's not going to show me the Malian or the Malian profile that we've just created. The reason for that is this still isn't created. Our Malian still isn't created. What we have to do is go here to the project browser, scroll all the way down, go to families, expand that, scroll down, or let's collapse this, find curtain wall Malians, here we go, expand that, and then you have to add that as one of these Malians. Now I'm just going to go here to the rectangular Malian, right click, go to new type, and then this one is going to be, let's call it the ceiling Malian. Okay, now you want to double click on that ceiling Malian and it's going to open up the type properties for that ceiling Malian. Then you want to go here and find the profile, see? Then you go here and change it to whatever ours is. Yeah, it's the ceiling construction profile. The position can stay as is, and then for the material, I'm just going to search for something like, I don't know, like aluminum would work for this, I guess. So let's use aluminum or aluminium, whichever pronunciation is correct. Let's click OK. And now once we have done that, if I select this roof again, go into edit type, go here to grid 1 Malians, let's see. Okay, now if I expand this, now we should have that. Okay, here we go, ceiling Malian. Now one quick trick here is to make a selection of this, go to Control C to copy, and then you just go Control V to paste, Control V, and then you just click here. It's a little bit quicker to kind of assign those to all of these. Finally, one quick thing that we didn't do is here for the system panel, it says glazed. You want to change that to empty. So none is not going to work. You want to go with empty. Okay, with that done, we need to hit apply. Click OK, and now if we zoom in, there we go. So as you can see, it creates these little trays on the bottom where you can then place your ceiling. Now for the actual ceiling placement or kind of the actual ceiling panels, you have a couple of options. So let me show you. Now before we do that, perhaps we can select the ceiling and go here to the properties panel, and then find base offset from level, and then let's just bring it down a little bit. Usually these are, well, suspended, so they should be a bit lower. So I'm just going to type in here minus 80 centimeters and then hit apply. As you can see, it drops down to that level. Now, as I said, you have a couple of options for creating your ceilings. I'm just going to go here to our ceiling plan, and then, or is this the floor plan? Yeah, this is the floor plan. Let's go to the ceiling plan. So ceiling plans, level 1, there we go. Zoom in a little bit. So you can just go here to your regular ceiling. You can use your plane ceiling, but if you decide to use the plane ceiling, one quick tip, make sure to go into edit type. Go to structure, edit the structure, and then here for the metal stud layer, you obviously don't have that anymore because the metal studs are already here. So what you want to do is just change that to gypsum. So just search here for gypsum. There we go, gypsum wallboard, double click, and then you can just paste the thickness here, 1.2, and then this layer below, we don't obviously need it anymore, so let's just hit delete, click OK, apply, OK, and there we go. And then we can just click here and place that. Now obviously this ceiling is a little bit below our construction, so what you need to do is let's hit the escape key a couple of times, then go to the quick access toolbar here and click on the section. And then you just run a section through this whole house or set of walls. You double click on the section head like that, and that opens up your ceiling and the construction. So you just zoom in here, make sure to turn on the thin lines just so you can align everything properly, and then you can select the ceiling. You can go to the move tool and then you can just move it up. So you just move it up on this, also not on the bottom line, but on the upper line here. And there we go. So this is how it should look. Now, if I go to the 3D view, and as you can see, this is how it looks in the 3D view from top, and then you can just orbit down on bottom, and this is what that's going to look like. And this is actually how ceiling construction looks like. You have these little kind of trays, this metal stud layer, or these little trays that are holding the gypsum in place. Now, obviously, the gypsum can be kind of screwed from the bottom, but this is just one of the types of the ceilings. Obviously, you can go to your section and then select the ceiling, go to the move tool, and then move it down like that. And then you have it on the bottom. So this is just the second type of a ceiling, I guess. But I prefer the first one, so I'm just going to go one step back to show that. So that's how you create the ceiling. Now, one additional thing that you can do is instead of creating the ceiling just like regular ceiling, as we did over here, you can create the ceiling as another roof, and then again use the curtain system and just use simple panels, and then that could kind of serve as calculating the number of panels that are required. So you can do that if you want. I'm not going to do it here because I think it's necessary, but if you want, you can do that as well, and then you can calculate the number of panels. The reason I don't do it is because usually it's not something like that's super expensive, and you can already calculate that from the just the area of the room, so that's not really that necessary. But why we do need this this construction that we have created here as that curtain roof, we need that because we can now calculate the lengths of each of these segments. We can create a schedule, and it's all going to be kind of documented there. You can always change the profile if that's required, if you want to use a different one. So I think it's a really powerful approach. Now this video is kind of taking a little bit longer, so I'm going to be ending it soon. But one thing that I would like to show you is I've actually created a suspension wire family. So let me just load that in here. I have it just on the second screen. So this is just a separate family. If you want to get it, it's going to be available on my Patreon page. So the Patreon is going to be the second link just below the video, and also I'm going to include it up in the cards. Now this is a page where you can find both my courses, but also I upload all of my Revit families and Revit projects. So if you want access to all of my project files, over 400 files, and I'm adding more after each video, you can find that there. Okay, so I've loaded in this family, but we need also the ceiling to place it on. So let's hit the escape key a couple of times, or not the ceiling, the upper floor. So for that, let's go to the floor tool. We can use concrete, we can use pick walls, and then let's just pick walls like so. Let's see. Perhaps go to level 1 to see, okay, they're kind of in the middle. Yeah, that's okay. Finish. Go to the 3D view, and the floor seems to be on the bottom. We want to move it up on top. So let's select that floor, go to the properties, go to level 1 here, and change that to level 2. Hit apply. And now it's up there where it should be. Okay, so once we have this floor in place, now we can place our the suspension wires on that. So for that, what I'm going to do is select the ceiling. Is this the ceiling? So you can use the tab key to kind of find the ceiling. Can be a little bit tricky to find. So perhaps make just a cross selection like this. Go to filter. Go to check none, and then just find ceilings, check that, hit apply. Okay, there we go. So you can select your ceiling, and let's just hide it temporarily. So let's go here to hide element. There we go. Now we can just see the concrete above, like so. And you want to go here to the component tool. Here's the suspension wire. It uses place on face, so I can just place it here on my ceiling there. Just like that, and then we can open up perhaps the section just to view this. There we go. There's the wire. Obviously it has to be longer, so let's go here and let's measure actually. So I'm just going to measure from here up to here. So that's like 55 centimeters, I think. So let's select the wire, Go to edit type. Let's set the ceiling offset to 55. Hit apply. There we go. So now it actually goes down to the ceiling. We want to place it here, so as you can see, it kind of hooks up where it should through that metal stud layer. There we go. And that's exactly what we want to see. So once this is kind of placed, once we have one of them in place, let's see. There we go. You want to select that. Go to your ceiling level. That's over here. Perhaps go and turn on the wireframe view mode so we can see that better. Okay, so we have one here. Let's place it actually there. Like that. Okay. So once we have this placed in one position, then we want to copy it. So I'm just going to go here to the copy tool, and then I want to go to multiple, and then you just want to copy it from perhaps here to here to here, maybe one here as well, and then there as well, I guess. Hit the escape key a couple of times, select all of them, and then again go to copy, CO is the shortcut, and then go from here to, I don't know, just as many as you need, so, or as many as it's required. And there we go. Hit the escape key a couple of times, go to the 3D view, and this is what we have. Now we can go back and reset temporary height isolate, and the best way to view this, I found, is to go here to the properties, scroll down, find your section box, turn that on, zoom out. Let's see. Okay, the section box is hidden in this particular template setting. So what you need to do is just go here to reveal hidden elements, and then just let's open this up. Okay, there we go. And then we can just toggle this off. There we go. Now if I zoom in and orbit around, here you can see that ceiling construction. You can see all of those little hooks holding the ceiling in place, and now everything looks much better. So this is always going to look much nicer than that regular plain ceiling, and I think it's better because it includes so much more information. So there we go. That's how you create ceilings in Revit. I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial, and please tell me in the comment section below, do you like this approach, or do you perhaps have a better approach to creating ceilings like this in Revit? Thank you for watching, guys. Make sure to check out my website, balkanarchitect.com, for more Revit courses. There I have over 120 hours of content, and I'm adding more each week. Make sure to subscribe for more videos, and also I've added a video over there that might interest you as well.